All right. On this episode, we got Irish Jerry Quarry with a record of. Let's restart. It's fine.
It's okay.
Good. All right, guys, we're back with another episode of Uncrowned Kings. On this matchup, we got Irish Jerry Quarry with a record of 53-9-4 with 32 knockouts, taking on the Boston Bone Crusher, Sam Langford. I believe he's a 4-weight world champion, not a heavyweight. Again, we're doing guys who didn't win heavyweight titles. But he was 178, 29, and 38. Let me say that one more time. 178, 29 defeats, and 38 draws with 126 knockouts and a little over 100 unsanctioned fights that aren't on his box rec record, so we don't have evidence to see how he did in those. Just a different era, different kind of guy, just a monster, one of the best to ever do it. But we're talking about him here at heavyweight. How we do against Irish Jerry Quarry. Reese, what do we got here? Take us through the tape a little bit.
Okay, so we got Jerry Quarry. He was 6 foot, 72-inch reach, and he came in often a little bit under 200, about like 194, 195 pounds. Sam Langford was 5'7" and a half with a 74-inch reach, and he maxed out at 185, but that was like probably later in his career because that wasn't his prime weight. So he's probably fighting heavyweights like about, he's probably about 175-ish.
And Jerry Quarry's got notable wins over Ken Norton and Floyd Patterson. And then the Boston Bone Crusher has notable wins over Fireman Jim Flynn and
Joe Jeanette.
And he beat both of them multiple times.
I think he might have fought Jeanette 18 times.
All right, Reese, take it away. What do we got?
So, this is a really hard fight to judge because I'm not going to say, yeah, Sam Langford, if he was training in the same era, I'm saying that Sam Langford at that time in the early 1900s to
the 20s.
Yeah, to the 1920s versus Jerry Quarry of the late 60s and the 70s. So it's like about a half a century difference in when they fought.
Yeah.
So, Langford was a really good inside fighter, but he never really used the jab. But the thing is, not a lot of people back then, the jab was...
No, he's got a reach advantage as well.
He does have a reach advantage by 2 inches over Quarry. So, Quarry moved around really well. He had a solid jab, a good combination puncher, and he had a really good left hook. And I hate to say it, but I kind of think the extra 20 to 25 pounds that he'd probably have, he might even have more than that on Langford. Plus the fact that he was just more modernized in his tactics and the way he fought. I have to give it to Jerry Quarry. I don't think he'd stop Sam Langford, though, because Sam Langford didn't even get stopped by Jack Johnson.
First black heavyweight of all time, in case you don't know who that is.
First black heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
So I think that that Jerry Quarry would win a decision, and we're going by 12-round decisions because that's the modern.
Yeah, not 30 like the Boston Bone Crusher fought, or 15 like Irish Jerry Quarry fought.
I think Quarry would just kind of be on the outside. Langford really couldn't fight that well on the outside. He was more of like an inside fighter, like I said. So I think Quarry would just kind of keep him on the outside and jab him and kind of hit him with check hooks and stuff like that, dance around a bit.
Now, if you look at their careers and you look at their accomplishments,
yeah, exactly.
Sam Langford won the colored heavyweight championship. Again, that doesn't count because it's not that. He doesn't, in the heavyweight lineage, you go back, you don't see his name because he didn't fight for the real heavyweight championship.
It was like the Negro Leagues in baseball.
So he can be in this tournament. I think his career is not even close. He's got a great career. It's not even comparable.
Some people would say he's top 3. I've even heard people say he's the best pound-for-pound dude ever. You can't compare their all-time great status, but in a head-to-head status, I've got to go Jerry Quarry. Probably pretty handily wins the decision in that.
I don't think Jerry Quarry would stop him. I'd have a hard time saying he'd even hurt him, to be honest, because the dude went I don't know how many rounds with Jack Johnson back then they fought.
It was 15 back then, which was short for back then.
Okay, 15 rounds with Jack Johnson, and I don't think there's footage on it. I can't find it if there is. But Jack Johnson says how tough he is. If you look up the articles and the research on it,
Didn't he say he's the toughest guy to ever come in the
I
ring?
think Jack Johnson said he's the toughest little dude to ever step in between the ropes or something like that.
Corey's got a decent punch. He stopped Ron Lyle, who's a heavy hitter and a big heavyweight. But this guy's just tenacious. He's a monster. If he doesn't beat you this time, he's going to fight you 2 weeks later. He's going to fight you, and he'll beat you then. That's the kind of era this guy grew up in and fought in. I think Jerry Quarry, his technical advantages, if you watch clip on both of them, just the science of the game had changed by this point. He was good with his angles. He didn't throw as wild as Sam Langford did. I think he would pick him apart and beat him on points in 12 rounds. But Langford would be landing some bombs along the way, making it a pretty decent fight. But I think Quarry wins pretty handily, split decision. I'm sorry, pretty handily unanimous decision.
Yeah, and just a little disclaimer, Marshall meant to say Ernie Shavers, not Ken Norton, as a notable win. Jerry Quarry actually lost to Ken Norton.
My bad. Watching a lot of tape.
Okay.
And Dad, what's your breakdown of this fight? We don't need a tiebreaker, but we need the OG breakdown. We need the OG down.
What do you got? What do you got for us?
All right. I hate doing this, but you know, this Sam Langford guy, he fought until he couldn't even see anymore, and he fought when he couldn't see.
That's
like he was legally blind boxing
In his last fight.
So, you know, just tells you how tough this guy was and what kind of heart he had. But if they were to fight head to head, I would pick Jerry Quarry. He basically would pick him apart, and I think it'd be a late stoppage.
Even though he wasn't stopped by Jack Johnson.
Even though he wasn't stopped by Jack Johnson.
Interesting.
It'd be a late stoppage. I'm going by, you know, Jack Johnson tactics.
Yeah, versus Jerry Quarry's. Yeah, they're just different.
You know, you put them in different areas, they got different styles.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nothing against, I hate doing it, man. I hate saying it. Doesn't take nothing away from this great fighter, great man, Sam Langford. Great man. I take Quarry. Late stoppage or unanimous decision.
So stoppage, unanimous decision.
TKO, if it was a stoppage.
Yeah, he's not out cool. I think Quarry just wins a unanimous decision.
I got unanimous decision, so I think the consensus is unanimous decision for Quarry.
Yeah.
Quarry's moving on to the next round, to the Elite Eight. Anything else you guys want to add?
Just so you guys know, we don't have a bracket. We are putting the next crop of fighters from this round that move on. We put them into the hat again, and we draw them back out, and that's how we make our bracket. So there's no bias or subconscious bias or whatever.
There will be a draw video for that round as well.
Exactly.
Anything else you want to add?
That would have been a fight I would like to have seen, but at the same time, I'd like to have seen Langford trained in the modern era.
Yeah.
If he was in the modern era, his survivors would never let him go to heavyweight.
Like they said in the biography we watched, if he fought today or he fought in the 70s, he'd be a millionaire.
He would be capped at welterweight, most likely, if he fought in today's era.
Yeah, he wouldn't be going up and down in weight like that.
5'7.5", don't forget that.
5'7.5".
Alright, guys, we're out.
Easy.
Alright, guys, we're back again with another fight for Uncrowned Kings. Today we got Andrew Golata with a record of 41-9-1 with 33 knockouts and notable victories over John Ruiz. And Tommy the Duke Morrison with a record of 48-3-1 with 42 knockouts with notable victories over George Foreman and, sorry, help me out, Reese.
Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ruddock. So I'm going to turn the tail of the table over to Reese. What do you got for us?
So, Tommy, he hits the scales at 233 pounds approximately, at 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Golata was about 250, 255. What is his height listed at and his reach?
6'4" with a 79-inch reach.
Yeah, so Golata's the bigger man, but Tommy has a higher knockout percentage at 80%. What's Golata's?
63.5.
So this is kind of a clash of styles because Golata he could fight on the inside, but he liked to use his jab and his right hand a lot. And he double and triple up his jab too. He actually had a really good jab. And fight from the outside. And Tommy liked to slip and counter with hooks and get inside and body shots and stuff like that. The thing about this fight is that I think it would be a pretty exciting and very competitive fight. To me, it's like a 50-50 fight, but this is what I think is going to set the tone. I think within probably the first or second round, Tommy's probably going to slip a jab and land a really hard body shot or a really hard hook upstairs on Golata, and that's going to change the whole fight. Because I think that's going to mentally take Golata out of it because Tommy could punch really hard. That it's going to, either Golata's going to start fouling because we know he had something going on in his head mentally, as you see in Riddick Bowe, and you saw earlier in his career when he fought the guy from, he was Samoan, I think.
Yeah,
he bit him. And yeah, you saw later in his career when he fought Tyson when he basically quit. I think he's gonna hit him, and it's gonna change the fight. Tommy's gonna hit Golata, and I think if Golata doesn't do something to get disqualified, it's gonna take him out of the fight mentally, and I could see Tommy stopping Golata mid to late rounds because of that. Because mentally he's gonna get Golata out of it, and he has a lot of heart, and he's mentally strong. So I think he's gonna beat Golata based off that.
Okay, so after doing a lot of thinking and research, we got to look at both of their losses. So Morrison lost 3 times, got knocked out 3 times. People question his chin. I'm not so quick to look at it that way. 2 of those losses are to Ray Mercer and Lennox Lewis, 2 of the just most ridiculous hitting heavyweights at the time, if not all time. And then Andrew Golata, he lost 9 times, 6 of those times by knockout. But a lot of those knockouts are him just quitting and stuff. Weird things that when he fought Mike Tyson, he's got up off the stool and walked out of the ring. So we're not looking at a stable guy, we're looking at Andrew Golata. If he is on track, the best he's ever been, I do think he could win this fight. There's a good chance that he outboxes Tommy Morrison with just works his jab and right hand. He's technically superior, in my opinion, especially because he was a medalist in the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
Tommy Morrison hits hard. That's a fact. Like, if you look at his resume, he just sparks dudes out. His highlight reel is insane. I do think Tommy touches him early, and I think that really puts a little thought in Golata's head, a little bit of doubt, and it's gonna mess with him. And I do think Tommy will use that to his advantage and will exploit that and win late. I don't think he stops him by like a vicious knockout or TKO. But I think Golata gets himself out of the fight by doing something stupid or by quitting because Tommy's just putting the pressure on and hitting him with heavy shots. But up till that point, it's going to be a back and forth brawl because Golata is he's bigger, stronger, and technically superior. But Tommy's heart, determination, and heavy-handedness is going to be too much, and it would just deter Golata and cause all kinds of problems for him.
Yeah, when it comes down to talent, it's like 50-50. But I think mentally and heart-wise, Tommy's going to win based on that.
The man was landing bombs on George Foreman. Okay, like the George Foreman win itself is that's too much for me to say that Andrew Golata could beat him. The notable win of John Ruiz is impressive, but it's not the same thing as beating George Foreman, even at the advanced stage.
He did beat Bowe down twice, basically.
He beat Bowe, but look what happened. He got himself out of that fight in a fight that he's up on scorecards. He's dropped him multiple times. I think he finds a way to get himself out of this fight. What do you think, Ben?
I think this is a fight that would have been awesome to watch. This is a pick'em fight. It can go either way. It can be decision. It can be knockout. How I see it, I think Golata tries to keep Morrison at the end of the jab. Morrison's going to get inside that jab. But I see, up and down fight. Someone's going to own the early fight, then someone's going to own the middle, and someone's going to own the late. I got Golata by a close split decision.
See, I could see that too. It's just if Golata doesn't mentally crack,
yeah,
he could definitely win the fight.
If he keeps his shit together.
His skill set is at the top in this division. Like, of all the names in the pool, he might be the most skilled. It's possible. He's got ridiculous skills. He just has weakness here. There's something missing here or here. Maybe both. Maybe both. There's something wrong with that guy. I think Tommy hits hard enough to put a little nugget of doubt in there and find a way to win because he's just that kind of determined guy.
Yeah. Tommy, and that's the difference between the two of them. One mentally cracks, and he might be weak, we're in the chest with the heart.
Exactly.
And Tommy, we've never seen him. We've seen him get stopped, but we've never seen him quit. We've never seen him mentally crack, and he has shown he has crazy amounts of heart when he fights.
So I think Tommy Morrison via TKO or disqualification.
Yeah, essentially.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what But once again, it was such a close fight that there hasn't been one yet that the three of us have agreed on.
Right.
So
yeah.
Tommy the Duke Morrison, aka Tommy Gunn, shout out to Rocky 5, moves on to the Elite 8. Good?
Good.
Easy.
We're out.